The conversation that we've been waiting to have with you today. You begin to notice that the things that you lightly are contemplating are flowing easily into your experience. Because in the light feeling, in the absence of effort feeling, in the light, so light, maybe it's because it's unimportant, maybe because it's unimportant, I haven't been beating the drum of it, and so I don't have a lot of momentum going in opposition to it. But in the lightness of it, the universe demonstrates it in some obvious way. So this is what brought Esther to the question. The lightness seems like the opposite of effort. So when I find myself trying, which is, we hear that from you a little bit, in the realization that you're trying, you might want to stop and say, this trying could be counterproductive. I'm efforting, which means I'm not engaging the energy that creates worlds, which means I think I'll just give this another run tomorrow. And as you do that and do that and do that, you're going to find that effort is not a factor in your experience. You're going to find that trying and struggle are not a factor in your experience. You're going to begin to discover that things that you want lightly come easily. So there's something important to be talking about there. How can I feel light about something I've been so intense about for so long? And we say, by giving it a rest. By giving it a rest, by focusing on some other things for a while, or by getting as general about it as you can. And things just work out. They just work out. Funny thing to hear from someone who's teaching you about deliberate creation. Deliberate creation. Deliberate creation is about tuning your frequency. Deliberate creation is about feeling your emotions and knowing what they're telling. Deliberate creation is about understanding the relationship between who you really are and what you really want and what you're doing right here and now. Deliberate creation is about chilling out so that there's no resistance and then focusing. It's about tending to the frequency first and then applying the thought. Oh, all right now.
Integrity.
Abraham, you said that I think and then I feel. So are you actually taking thought back to the element of frequency? Yep. Can you find a frequency without a thought? Can you feel the frequency of love? Can you feel the frequency of love? Now, don't get carried away about who you love or who you loved or anything like that. Just feel the frequency of love. Can you feel the frequency of love? Can you feel the frequency of enthusiasm? Can you feel the frequency of fun? So it's possible to feel a frequency by interpreting it through emotion in a sort of thoughtless place. That's all we're asking you to do. That's the thing to do first thing in the morning. Wake up and enjoy the non-thought. Don't be too quick to try to figure out what this day means and where you have to go and what you have to do. Just give yourself, if you can, 68 seconds of just basking in the energy, in the non-action, non-verbal, even non-thought, vibrational frequency. Just give it a chance and see what happens. And then watch how the thoughts begin to follow suit. It is our promise to you. Get that momentum going and you'll be off on the right foot. And as soon as tomorrow, you'll have a day unlike any other day that you've ever had. We're not kidding you. Give it a month and you'll feel absolute control of your experience. And when people see the difference in the way you feel, they'll say, what are you doing? And you say, it's kind of hard to describe. I'm doing a lot less than I've ever done before. Well, what do you mean? Well, I'm focused upon the way I feel. Well, what does that mean? It means I don't want to talk about this with you anymore. There's a really good chance you're going to talk me off my high-flying disc. Well, what are you smoking? Well, it's not like that. This is a non-drug high. It's a non-drug alignment. It's alignment that has always been there for me that now I'm consciously tapping into. It's alignment that I've been stumbling on all my life, just didn't know how to maintain it. Didn't know how to create it to begin with and didn't know how to maintain it. Now I do, so I'm doing a more consistent job of it. So I've got more momentum going. So I've got more airtime happening, more vibrational airtime, more attention, more verbal time, more stuff from me about those pipes that I want to keep open. What pipes are you talking about? Well, you see, there's this path of least resistance between me and everything else. And it's a path of least resistance between me and what I want, and it's a path of least resistance between me and what I don't want. It's a path of least resistance. And I'm just keeping the pathway open on the things that I care about. Well, how do you know the difference? Things I care about that I really want feel good to me when I think about them. When I'm focused upon what I want, it always feels good. When I'm focused in opposition, it never feels good. Oh, seems too simplistic to me, they'll say. I know, it did to me at first. That's why I tried to make it harder than it needed to be. I made it harder than it needed to be for quite a while. And then who knew? I'm supposed to feel good. Life is supposed to be fun. I have endless unseen energies that have my back, who know what I want, who are pointing the way. I had no idea the leverage, the creative energy that was available to me until I started pointing it. Well, what have you accomplished with this? Well, I feel great. I know, but what else? Well, I just feel wonderful. Well, what else? Well, it's too much to tell. Well, tell me something. Well, I just feel great. I feel great. And mostly nice people are around me. And people who used to bother me aren't coming around. And some of them that used to bother me don't bother me anymore. And ideas come more easily to me. I'm more intuitive. I'm more clear-minded. The things that occur to me occur in better timing. So when I act on them, I get more immediate results. The things that I want are just flowing into my experience. My day-to-day moments are really exciting. I used to look forward to a vacation and kind of put up with everything before it. And now every day feels sort of like that vacation. I have that lighthearted feeling all day, even when you're at work. Yeah, especially when I'm at work, because I feel purposeful there and I feel momentum there. And there's this give and take thing that happens with me at work where we're all winning as a result of our co-creating together. It's some of the best time that I spend is when I'm at work. Yeah. So many lovely people in this world. Have you noticed? Well, not so much. I haven't noticed that so much. Well, that's because I'm on my high-flying disc. I know that's what... Well, now, tell me about this stupid disc. How did you get on this high-flying disc? I was born there. I was born there. I talked myself out of it with a lot of help from others who had forgotten about it too. But no, I mean, how did you get on it today? Well, I thought you'd never ask. Well, this morning when I woke up, I just thought happy thoughts. So that's your philosophy. You just think happy thoughts. Yeah? I stopped watching television for the most part. There's some shows I really like that I am recording and watching, fast forwarding through all the commercials, which means television won't be around for long because, yeah, just think happy thoughts. Hang around with people who feel good mostly. Think of reasons to feel good. But mostly, I just get up looking for a reason to feel good and almost always find it immediately. And then I milk it. Some people will think that it's too simplistic, but as you begin to demonstrate how great you feel, and as they begin to see, especially those who know you, the things that they've been hearing you talk about, as they begin to see those things flowing into your experience, as they begin to see your prosperity improving and your laughter more obvious and common, and they begin to notice how clear-minded you are and what good timing you have, what good comedic timing, what good intellectual timing, what good psychological timing, just what good timing. It's going to be so noticeable. You are going to be such powerful demonstrators of those who have accessed and harnessed and directed the energy that creates worlds, that a sort of euphoric feeling of joyful invincibility is going to be yours, to the point that when people point out even the most serious seeming from their perspective of problems, you're going to stand solid in your knowing of all is wellness, and you're going to support them in the same way that Source supports you, by not freaking out because they have chosen a lower flying disc. And before you know it, you won't freak out when you find a lower flying disc either. You'll understand how it works. You'll understand that, this is just a step one moment, and that's all part of the process. I'm predominantly now, for the first several years of my life, I was predominantly in step 3, because I was born that way. Then those around me began insisting that I become more accountable, which meant try to compensate for their inability to stay on their disc. We hope you heard that in the way we meant it. So then I had sort of a rough ride for a while, where I was having predominantly step 1 moments. What are step 1 moments? Contrasting moments where I know what I don't want, so I know what I do want. I know what I don't want, so I know what I do want. So I was asking for quite a few years of my life. I was predominantly doing step 1 moments, stumbling accidentally into alignment, but not really knowing what I was doing. But it was a good plan, because during that step 1 phase of my life experience, all of you have passed through that now. I filled my vortex with all kinds of specifics that matter to me. And now you're in the step 3 phase of your life experience, where now getting on the high flying disc, that's your work, that's your work, that's your work, that's your work, that's your work. So I'm done, Abraham, I'm not going to create anymore. Oh no, because you're not going to stay on the high flying disc. You're going to dip. You're going to still have step 1 moments, but you're predominantly going to be living step 3 moments. Occasional step 1 moments, because you can't not expand. You want to continue to clarify, but predominantly step 3 moments. You see what we're getting at? How can I assure predominant step 3 moments? By making sure every day at least starts there. And if we have done the best sales job that we have ever done about anything, we've convinced you to at least give it a go, to at least try to see what happens. And we would so love a repeat of this gathering with these identical magnificent beings 30 days from today, to hear from you what has happened since you have found and established and maintained and enjoyed and understood what it feels like to be on that light-hearted, good feeling, high-flying disc. We are certain at this moment that there is nothing important that we know that you don't know. We can feel that you have found resonance with some basic things that are important to who you are. And most important, we can feel that you feel sort of energized, maybe inspired is a better word, to offer some focus that we know is going to serve you in a really powerful way. It is such pleasure for us to interact with those like you who are determined and strong in your desire, who are willing and even patient enough to walk with us slowly sometimes to find these nuggets of clarity that you just feel resonance with. We have been saying for quite a while that we make too much of all of this. In our desire to simplify it for you, we go on and on and on. But it is our knowing that today you have found some simple steps, and we know you feel the resonance with who you are. Our favorite thing about you and our time that we spend with you is that moment when conscious realization occurs to you as you make the correlation between something that you did vibrationally and something that happened in terms of demonstration. That's just the best